Alright, let's talk about the newest IWC iteration. They just released this week, maybe last week by the time this video is out, and I think this is the best Ingenieur variant available right now. It's not perfect, I have some nitpicks, so this is my list of the 3 best updates and the 2 things I'd change. Some things to know: this is just a dial update, only available in the 35mm, so if you like the color but prefer 40mm, this isn't going to be for you. Yet. I'm saying this like it's a fact. It's not. I just have a fan theory that they're trialing this out on the smaller sizes, and if the demand's there, if a lot of people like it, maybe adding it to the 40mm. This kinda turquoise blue, bold, flat color has been pretty on trend lately. If you're into watches, this isn't news. Comparing the colors against my turquoise Oyster Perpetual, they're pretty similar. I think the IWC is slightly more blue, like a light blue feeling, and the texture dial gives it a different depth and shine than the completely flat Rolex. I also think the size needs addressing. Although there's only 1mm between the diameters, the IWC feels notably smaller. I think the bezel thickness makes the dial smaller and makes the overall wearing experience smaller. I'm going to put on some B-roll, which should hopefully show the size difference between the two. Here it is on my 5.5-inch wrist, and on my husband's 7-inch wrist for comparison. I would personally recommend the 40mm for a 7-inch wrist circumference and larger, maybe even 6.5-inch wrist circumference and larger. I feel like this style of watch lends itself to a larger sizing. It's not a good or bad thing, it just depends on your preferences and the way you like this style of watch to wear. Looking at the specifications, this has a stainless steel case material, 100 meters of water resistance, and a thickness of 9.4mm, so pretty thin on wrist. Movement wise, this is powered by the same movement as before, so the automatic caliber 47-11-0 visible through the display caseback and giving 42 hours of power reserve. I have a love-hate relationship with dial changes. I think the forums era watch enthusiast within me thinks, who cares? Innovation-wise, nothing has changed. It's not a new case. Absolutely nothing is different. It's just a different dial. But on the other hand, the dial makes a big impact, and it's affected the way I feel about this watch and who I'd recommend it for. Like, if you are looking for a go anywhere, do anything watch with a summertime light, fresh feel, but the Oyster Perpetual waitlist is impossible, this is a serious contender. I would say this is nicer than the Oyster Perpetual, as someone who's very familiar with it. This is a cut above. Like, in the finishing department, it is objectively nicer. Even if you knew nothing about watches and you didn't have the language for it, you could try both these on, hold these side to side, and know that the IWC is finished to a higher degree. Beautiful chamfer edges and polishing, the satin brush surfaces are so buttery, and the bracelet is great. It forms to the wrist. It also has a date function at 3 o'clock, which I love. But it is worth noting, these higher details, this higher level of finishing, also comes with a higher price tag, a £3,300 more expensive price tag to be precise. And, oh, that's a lot of guacamole. That is nothing to turn your nose up at. I see why it costs what it does, but just speaking for myself personally, that would stretch my budget just a little bit further than it could be stretched. I would need to save for an extra year or two to make up that difference. Now, whether it's worth it to you, that's only for you to answer. I dare say it's worth it. But this isn't an Oyster Perpetual versus IWC video. 3 updates I really like. 1, the color, obviously. This is the IWC take on the Tiffany blue trend. We saw the Tudor interpretation last year with the Blue Lagoon. Obviously Rolex, Patek Philippe, even Christopher Ward recently with the C63 Sealander. I really like it against this dial texture. It feels that little bit more elevated and flashy, and it adds some depth that is missing with the 35mm range, which only had navy blue, black, and white in stainless steel before. So this adds a kind of fun, playful variant. Number 2, and I think this is a detail people could miss, the date window. This is the only variant without a color match date window, instead opting for white. It tricks your eye into thinking it's an index when you're not specifically looking for the date. I like it. And number 3 is just the overall package. Not to go back to OP comparisons, but this is a color combination I'm pretty used to wearing. And it's hard to tell you guys how much more I like the IWC. I just find the overall package to be elevated and considered, and that next step above. I've already said it, but the chamfer edges, just those little details that make a more premium product, it's a cut above. I think we should talk about the price a little bit more. I know it's something that's going to come up in the comment section, and it's something that rubbed a lot of watch enthusiasts wrong. And I was really critical of these. Like when these were first introduced back in 2023, I found the price almost shocking. I really couldn't believe the way IWC was positioning these. The movement wasn't new. It was also in other watches. The power reserve was nothing to write home about. I just couldn't understand why they were doing this. But then, once I was hands-on, I understood it. It's kind of the things watch geeks who really care about the spec sheet don't gravitate towards. For a lot of people, it really just boils down to movement, power reserve, water resistance materials used, and micro adjustment on bracelet. Anything past that is a waste of money. I don't agree with this outlook. I said it before, you could know nothing about watches and look at these and just tell a greater amount of detail work went into these. The OP is still very good, don't get me wrong, but there is a reason why these command a higher price, and I get it. I am someone who's sick of Genta design being something that's a selling point for watches right now, but this is unmistakably Genta. It's a pretty similar wearing experience to other designs, even the VC Overseas, for a much more digestible price if you're looking for that kind of vibe. Okay, the 2 problems I have now, let's talk about those. It's still the pricing, £8,900. Ooh, it's on the edge of my budget. It would take a little bit more saving. But putting that aside, number 1, sizing. This is less for me and more for the wider consumer market. This specific color is only available for the 35 millimeters, and I think it would be a big hit for the larger sizes as well. But even more generally, I feel like they're missing a trick with their sizes. So the Ingenieur is available in 35, 40, and 42 millimeters. It feels like they're missing the 38, 39 millimeter sweet spot. I have a fan theory. It's based on absolutely no intelligence, no insider information. I think they're going to release a 38 millimeter Ingenieur Jumbo. Jumbo. A 38 or 39 millimeter Jumbo. It would be sick. People would go nuts. And 2, the color. Although I really like it, it feels like they kind of landed this at the tail end of turquoise dominance. I think if they made this a year ago, game changer. It's still great. I just wish it came out a bit earlier, before I bought my Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Maybe I'm just salty because I like this more. If this existed at the same time, I would have bought the IWC. I would have saved a little bit longer. A couple of quick tidbits at the end. These aren't things I care about as much, but I think other people will care about a lot, so it's worth noting. This still has no form of micro adjustment on the bracelet or clasp. I have a couple of watches with no micro adjustment. For me, it's not a deal breaker, but I know for so many people, it is a big deal. And don't get me wrong, I do always prefer that form of micro adjustment. It's not as big of a deal for me as it seems to be with other people. Like, some people get indignant about it. I think by this point in time, especially if you're asking for luxury price tags, it should be something that's there. But even the tippy top end of mainstream luxury, Patek Philippe, this is a new ground for them. They're only just starting to implement micro adjustments in the Nautilus. And point 2, this doesn't have a screw down crown. I don't know why I thought it did. Maybe it's just because of the crown guards. It just seems like a style that would, but it is just a pull out, push back down. Anyways, guys, these are just some of my thoughts after being hands-on with the new pool dial Ingenieur 35. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. She says as if the watch geeks weren't going to do that anyways. Thank you so much to IWC for letting me review this, letting me be hands-on for a couple days. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for your viewership. And now, thank you to the Pope Tier patrons. Get their names on the screen. Oh my gosh, I'm melting from the heat. I'm just taking like little breaks in my talking to dab the sweat. Anyways, this isn't about me, this is about you. I still have the best job ever. Even when I'm melting away, I get to sit in my garage and talk about watches. That's awesome. And it's because of you guys. It's because of the fabulous names on the screen. All tiers of patrons, you keep this channel going. But the highest tier of patrons, the Pope tier patrons, oh yeah, these are the names on the screen. Thank you so much. Thank you to the people who have been here the longest. Thank you to the people who have been here the shortest. Thank you for supporting this channel for any length of time. It runs on patrons. We'll see you on the next one.